We are back again, going after one of the world's most well-known writers, William Shakespeare. Wow, you do this so often, you should give it its own theme song. Wait, no, I wasn't trying to give you any ideas. You're lucky I don't know how to put music together. You're gonna start working on it anyway, aren't you? This is The Merchant of Venice. Salutations, friends. Now, if you aren't familiar with this story, allow me to help you because this play has got a lot of subplots and storylines. But the one that's important for our purposes here today is going to be the B story with Shylock the Jew. This part of the story is about a Jew named Shylock. He has loaned the merchant Antonio money under this condition that should he not be able to return it in time, he has to give Shylock a pound of his flesh. Which, I don't know why people think this is extreme. The other day I lent a friend of mine a pen, and I took his alarm when he didn't bring it back. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Since when do you have friends? Well, lo and behold, the day arrives and old Tony is not able to pay the money, so Shylock demands his fleshy prize. The conflict makes its way to a courtroom, but ultimately Shylock loses the case and is forced to convert to Christianity. Okay, but what more can you really say here? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. The problem that has arisen around the book is determining whether or not it's intended to be anti-Semitic or not. And there's really good reasons for asking this question, but I stand firm in my position that it 100% is, and don't think that I'm just taking the easy way out thinking that just because the majority of the text surrounding Shylock is anti-Semitic in nature means that that's the entire purpose. But can we also acknowledge the fact that that's not something we should ignore either? But anyways, the main reason for this flicker of doubt that people have here is one particular speech that Shylock has at the opening of the play. It goes like this.
Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions, fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases?
Hey! I see you yawning over there. Stay awake, I'm almost done.
Healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer as a Christian is? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die?
Great, now we just have to make it through the rest of this video. You know what? You and I are about to fight. Been there.
No ordinary scholar is not responsible for any damages that come to bystanders, including but not limited to physical injury, mental scarring, and excessive cringe.
That sounds super heartfelt, no sarcasm whatsoever. It sounds like a legitimate call to acknowledge all of the treatment that Jews have been through over the years. But there's just a few holes I want to poke in that theory. You see, that passage that I brought up earlier was a very strong piece of prose, but it was also very out of place in the entire piece, and that context should not be ignored. Throughout the entire play, Shylock is put down, humiliated, and villainized, and in the trial, he loses and is forced to convert. Not to mention that trial scene, the climax of the entire story is treated like a joke. Don't believe me? That scene is intended to be a legal battle between Shylock and two women. Do you know how laughably ridiculous that would have been at the time? A man being beaten by two women in court would have been the ultimate embarrassment. And if that wasn't enough of a literate shot to the balls, it gets worse because they were two women dressed as men. Not to mention the fact that in Shakespeare's time, men still played all of the female roles. So the audience is watching two men dressed as women, dressed as men, winning a legal battle. If that doesn't sound like a joke to you, please tell me where I can find the burial site of your sense of humor. I'd like to pay my respects. And after that, after all of this humiliation, Shakespeare decides he will not be done with Shylock until he has made him a unit. Because the story doesn't even end with a trial. It ends with some like rom-com style skit that completely dismisses Shylock and his entire plot line. Okay, but maybe he was trying to make a more subtle point. Right, that makes total sense, because Shakespeare was the king of subtlety. I mean, remember that time he gave that jerky character in A Midsummer Night's Dream the literal head of an ass? Such a deep message. I thought you weren't supposed to be the sarcastic one. Besides, who said these thoughts had to have originated with Willie? A very common tactic used in argumentative, especially political talks, is to just vocalize the opponent's position and dismiss it. It helps to bring authenticity. You can show the others on your side the same counterpoints that they hear all the time with a response that just kind of brushes it off. And the vigor that they use helps to assert their side even if they haven't actually addressed the point. If you want to learn more about this, please click on the last week tonight video in the iCard. I mean, what other point is there to giving such an impactful speech to the same man that is shown as being completely out for blood, that shows zero tolerance for a more humane compromise? And how else are we going to view someone that is determined to fight fire with a knife of balance? Point is, I get why people might think that this is supposed to be a nudge in the direction away from anti-Jewish prejudice, but that one passage is just part of a much bigger story. Shakespeare sets Shylock up to be a monster and then makes him loose in every possible way. This tale isn't meant to help pull the Jews from the trenches. It just kicks more dirt on their heads. I really hope that I got through to a person or two today. If you want to keep hearing from me, please click on the subscribe button and check out my Instagram, Facebook, and noordinaryscholar.com, all of which are going to be linked down below. If you really like what's going on here, please consider checking out my Patreon account. But until next time, valedictions, friends.